switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in to get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you when I'm Forza, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Family, welcome back to The Fix. I had the wrong screen popped up. I had the wrong screen prepared. Oopsie. Ignore that. Yeah, welcome to The Fix, guys. It's been a while. It has been, man, it felt like it's been like a month, Danny, right?
Something like that. Yeah, we're not far off from it.
Slow-mo, I see you. No slander will be tolerated. Yeah. I want nothing but praise. That's it. Anything else, I will instruct Gray Monad to modify you. But yeah, no. Yeah, it's been about a month. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you, BV. I see you, Biff. I see you, Gray, obviously, our mod. Slow-mo, who came here to stir up nonsense. He said it's been a month because he started the podcast back in July and just showed up. That is untrue. I see you, nerds. I see you, Spider. Yeah, hopefully more people populate as we go and keep going. It has been a while, so I definitely, even whatever's coming up in the future, I do want to make sure that, we stay more active going forward because, people can drop off and move on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, we are back, folks, and we're coming back with at a great time with Gamescom and everything like that being shown. We got the ROG Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X, and I mean we got a lot of news and games to discuss. So we got the new Valve is talking about coming out with a console. I mean, like it's a crazy time right now, and we're joined by a really great guest, community member, and of course a podcaster himself, one of the most intelligent brothers I've had the pleasure of being around and hearing and soaking in the game. We are joined by GameLogIQ. GameLogIQ, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks a lot, bro. That was a little too much praise, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, listen, you deserve it. I would say just hearing your thoughts on things like that and hearing your viewpoint has actually opened up my eyes in ways. Like sometimes I think if we're around like a lot of the same people who have the same mindset, you get a little echo chamberish. So like it's good to hear people from different perspectives, and you give a lot of that. So yeah, man, shout out to you. Yeah, thank you for joining us, brother. You are co-host of the Enough to Keep Going podcast. And that is on Sundays. And what time is that you go live?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. So you guys make sure you check him out. I have all this information in the description. And we'll definitely cover more of that, of course, as we get our outros, provided no issues and mishaps that he's still here with us by that point for Discord. Given this,
Discord's a harsh mistress.
A harsh mistress. But yeah, man, listen, we'll start off with our housekeeping. Tell the good folks what you have been playing. And of course, Well, I'll get to you in a minute, Danny. I guess I may as well
I'm
start.
good.
Yeah. Tell the good folks what you've been up to, Logic. What have you been playing, watching, etc.? What have you been, your interest been lately?
Oh, just like full nerd wise, not just games.
Whatever it is, reading a book, whatever it may be, whatever you want to share.
Yeah. TV wise, it's kind of weird. Like I would call myself a big Star Trek fan, but like I don't like hop, leap, and jump like every time like a new Star Trek show comes on. Like it usually takes me a while sometimes to get around to it. Like in this day and age, right, with streaming, back in the day when it was network television, right, you would watch it because you didn't have any choice. Otherwise you would miss it. But now with streaming, I'm just whatever, I'll get around to it. So I did recently start watching Strange New Worlds, which is actually really good. I was really surprised. It's like, I mean, even more so than the Next Generation was. It is like each episode is like a little mini movie. The production quality is really high. You have to have gotten to that point. I think for people who are Star Trek fans, we went through that time where we were like, okay, this is supposed to be older than the original series, but like everything looks newer. Like you had to kind of just push the I believe button and get over that. So I did.
Right.
But yeah, I'm having a good time watching that.
That's interesting, by the way, because Danny and his other co-hosts on another show they run with the Ready Set Replay, they have actually been going through watching past episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah. We started with the original series, and we've finished recording, talking about everything in the first season, but the last episode that still has to come out. That'll come out 2 weeks from now. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I haven't watched like any Star Trek before that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that so many people, like, I think still to this day, don't realize and understand that like the original series was only like 3 seasons, and like Chekhov doesn't even show up to like the 3rd season. So,
Yeah.
Really? Wait, with Kirk, with Captain Kirk?
Yeah. It was only 3 seasons.
Whoa, I had no idea. I thought it was like 12 seasons.
Yeah. And then of course, like I said with Chekhov, like everybody like thinks of him as like just having been around the whole time, but he like only came. So literally, he spent more time as a character in the movies than he was actually on the television show.
Wow.
So yeah, it's super interesting. That show. I mean, and one of the there's different nerd stuff you can get into. I like getting into the nerd stuff that has like a lot of like structure to it. And where there's like lore, but like there's kind of institutionalized thing of like keeping all that straight to a certain extent. And I'm not saying Star Trek is perfect about that by any means.
Yeah.
But I feel it does a much better job than lots of other things, right?
Yeah.
And it's very similar, right, to stuff I've done in my professional life. So yeah, I really enjoy it, and I'm really enjoying the show. I have not right now. I'm just watching it, so I haven't gotten wrapped around the axle about stuff I normally do on Star Trek, like looking at the size of people's stripes on their sleeve and making sure that they're lore accurate, and like asking like, are they supposed to be a lieutenant junior grade or a full lieutenant? Like, I'm letting that stuff go, maybe because I'm in my older years, but yeah, it's good. It's really well written, I feel like, and I'm enjoying it. Nice. Comic book wise, I just read. So last night I read latest issue of World's Finest, where Mark Waid is doing a run of Batman, Superman, and Robin on Bizarro World. Oh, wow. Where like Bizarro World is kind of going through like a Krypton type of extinction level event. So that's super interesting. Super interesting, obviously, to see Mark Waid right back on a book, just kind of at that point of his career, where he can just have fun, right? He's not wrapped around the axle about like continuity and like making sure everything fits in the DC universe and all that stuff.
So this is like an Elseworlds for him, basically. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's weird. There's a little bit of like maintaining some consistency, because it is like the DC universe is doing this weird thing where both DC and Marvel a little bit, but DC's doing this thing where they are kind of hopping around in different series and maintaining some level of lore accuracy, but a lot of books are taking place in like different points in like the DC timeline. So it's kind of neat, right? It's a little freedom. It's not all, yes, I love the continuity when it's wrapped around events, but I also enjoy it when it's not. And then I read the most recent issue of Nightwing, where Dan Waters is really kind of doing a seminal run. That book has gotten like super popular, like just more and more popular since Dick got shot in the head. And since
damn, you got shot in the head.
Yeah, that happened a few years ago. They were kind of writing him out, not writing him out, but there was the whole thing with I can't remember the guy's name. There was a long time guy at DC who hated Dick Grayson, and he finally got like marshaled out of DC.
He hated that he was getting all the ladies, wasn't he?
No, he just hated the character.
Oh,
like, wow. I don't know what it was, and he hated that the character's first name was Dick, so he was always like, he was like the senior creative officer for a while. I can't remember what the guy's name was. It's missing me right now, but he was always telling people like don't refer to him as Dick, like making them change his name, and so it was like a weird thing. I think he was also
for a while there, he had a solo run that was just called Grayson.
Yes, yeah, where they brought him because like a spy or whatever.
Yeah, because he may have also gotten shot in the head there, but he had like amnesia. Like he didn't remember that he was Robin.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. So maybe Grayson there was a book before that where he was a standalone where they brought him back as like a spy. But I think the one you're talking about is kind of the point in the timeline where I was talking about, where he got shot in the head and then he eventually remembered that he was Nightwing, and he's still like now he's like the champion of Bloodhaven and blah blah blah. At any rate. Yeah. It's been a great series that's been super popular fans for about the last 3 years. So that's one that I've been reading as well.
That's cool,
and then I'm sure people are getting bored about me talking about everything but games. So game wise, most of my time this week has been spent on my Xbox Series X. I went back to Forza Horizon 5. Where I'm like level 122, so I've put like crap tons of hours in that. I think I've put like 75 hours or something like that in that game.
Yeah.
But it's always something I enjoy going back to, and there's still just plenty of content. It's kind of one of those weird things where it's like it's the game as a service that isn't really called a game as a service.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played that. I finally got around to messing with Xbox Remote Play, and so I was playing like Forza Horizon on my iPhone 16 for a little bit this week, so that was fun.
How well did it play for you? Nice, good streaming, everything, all that.
It played. It was serviceable. I mean it.
Okay.
And I mean and so like when I say these things, like people have to understand like I've spent time like driving crazy vehicles and and writing software for a lot of environments where there are requirements for like very tight tolerance, right, on control surfaces and things like that. Not writing the software, but like overseeing and architecting it. So like it's just when I say it was serviceable, it played fine, but like you could definitely feel like there's this feeling of distance you get from how far you are from the metal, so to speak, right? When you're going through an interface, and you could definitely tell, but you weren't playing on hardware, right? That you were playing
right.
Over a wireless network connection, but it was fun.
That's pretty
just
cool.
Just a little more latency than I would have normally preferred, right, in a driving and racing game. But I mean, it's remote play, so it is what it is.
Yeah, you gotta be like content to a degree, because you're streaming it. It's not going to perform like you would on a what's the word I want to use here on I'm having a brain fart right now on native.
It's not gonna be like 1-to-1, right, in terms of latency.
Right.
So
and that's the beautiful thing though, man. Like, and that's why like these handhelds, like we'll be talking about it, but like the advent of this is being able to play these different things on a smaller screen, or away from a dedicated like TV or whatever. And so, like, I played through a bunch of games using remote play, like Cyberpunk. I got through a lot. I got like 400 some odd hours in Cyberpunk, and a lot of that was done through streaming, through xCloud, through the phone, playing on the phone and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm an advocate for it. I know some people don't have the greatest of connections, but it's worked out well for me over the years, I will say.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, we'll definitely talk. We can definitely talk about when we get it handhelds. It's one of those things where I I like to be around conversations around that type of thing that are kind of level headed, right? That don't like overhype it, right? But then like look at it serves a purpose and a function, and it can fit within a gamer's ecosystem, right?
Right.
In my mind, it shouldn't be talked about as a replacement, right?
Right.
And it shouldn't be like playing on a smaller screen is neat, but it also shouldn't be ignored that a larger screen, some people look at it as a systems requirement, right? As something that is a preferred experience. But they absolutely, I normally talk about them in my ecosystem as the biggest get is that point of continuity, right? That I can start a campaign, right, on, so to speak, of Forza Horizon 5, where like in a week I'm saying I'm going to put in, 6 hours, right, on Forza Horizon 5, but then I can play via remote play and squeeze in another, 30 minutes at lunch here and there throughout the week and get, 7, 8, 10 hours in, right, by the end of the week. Like that's where I feel like it fits for me.
For sure. For sure.
And then the last thing I'll mention is, because I wanted to play something new on my Xbox, after years and years and years of not having played Madden, I picked up Madden 26. And I've been playing it.
Was my man jumping backwards over that guy that got you?
Yes, took a while early. Yeah. I had been playing college football 26 on my PlayStation 5 Pro, and I was like, this. And I was kind of looking at some film of Madden, and I was like, I think, there's enough similarity that, I'm enjoying playing college football. Again, saying this after having laid off a lot, and maybe I'm kind of getting back around to playing sports games more now as kind of a replacement for gas games, since I've kind of like stepped away from Call of Duty and a lot of the other things that I was playing that are gas. And digging into, some of the mechanics underneath the covers and the off-season stuff. And so I've been playing FC25 on the Xbox, and I was playing Super Mega Baseball on PC, and then, like I said, college football on PS5 Pro. So I'm kind of in a sports swing right now. So yeah, I went ahead and picked up, like I said, Madden 26 on the Xbox. MLB The Show 25 was also on sale. It was like 60% off. So I haven't had a chance to break that open, but it had been on my wish list for a while because I hadn't picked that up this year. So I also grabbed that and kind of stuffed it in the backlog while I'm playing some of this other stuff. But yeah,
it has been so long since I played a Madden. I see BV said he recommends buying it every 10 years. It'll probably be best for me to jump in on this year or next for that reason. I think the last I played was when Michael Vick was on the cover.
He's a coach now, right?
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. Yeah, man, it's been a while. I used to love the NFL games from 2K. The NFL 2Ks. I used to love those. Oh, sure. Yeah. It just felt like after that was gone or whatever, and EA got the license. It was like,
it's one of the greatest times in gaming. Like, was it 2001, 2002? The Dreamcast was still around.
Oh man, I love the Dreamcast.
And I was in school at the time, and I had two buddies. We were in class, but we were done by like 3:00. Every day, sometimes earlier. Yeah. And my buddies would come over, and we would sit on the couch, and two of us had Dreamcasts, and because all of you could play on the same team. Which was like a first, right? That had ever been in like a video game football, and so we'd all play on the same team. I think we were playing like the Minnesota Vikings or whatever. Nice. For whatever reason, none of us were Vikings fans, but I played quarterback. The other guy played tight end, and another guy played wide receiver. Nice. We just had a ball, man. It was like one of the last like high times of couch co-op that I can remember.
Yeah, man. Stuff like that. That's why I always go back to like Halo CE and Halo 3s, and it's just to go back thinking about that, playing with family and friends and stuff like that. It's crazy that we don't really get that anymore. Now it's online co-op and stuff like that or whatever, if you get that. But yeah. To move us forward though. But yeah, yeah, no, you've been gaming, man. You've been gaming. I gotta get a move on a few things myself. I did beat Mafia recently, but I'll get to mine in a second. Danny, my illustrious co-star and co-host.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, brother? What have you been playing, watching, etc.?
Honestly, I've been doing a lot of just like real life stuff the last couple weeks.
You've been touching grass?
I've been touching grass, for better and worse. I started a walking challenge, so I've been trying to do 10,000 steps every day for 30 days. Today is day 18, and I've already done it today. So we're almost there. It's boy, my legs are tired. It turns out, so 10,000 steps, it equals out to roughly 5 miles a day, which like doesn't sound like a ton, but when you go from like not really working out much to doing that, your legs are like, hey man, what gives?
It's not bad. 5 miles a day is, I would think that's pretty good, actually.
It's pretty good.
5
I mean,
wow.
it's
and
definitely
hot there where you're at
change.
too. It's pretty hot there, right? Yeah,
it's been like 100 degrees, and my apartment gym is closed, so I've been doing most of it outside.
You're better than me. I don't. You might not know this logic, but I don't play when it comes to that heat. I will not go out there 100 degrees. Oh, that's a crime against humanity.
It's been like it's that thing where it says like, oh, it's 98, but it feels like 106, and you're like, yeah, it does. It does feel like that.
The heat index got you with the humidity. Do you all have humidity crazy down there too, or what?
Not much. It did rain like 2 days ago, so it's been a little humid lately, but for the most part it's pretty dry, which people say is like, oh, it's a dry heat, it's not as bad. It's still bad. It's still not good.
Right, man. Okay, so yeah, you've been doing more of the real life thing. What about?
Been doing a lot of that.
I saw that you guys posted a new video, obviously a new episode of Ready Set Replay, which had Star Trek on the front of it, by the way.
We did. Yeah, so we just got. I've been doing a lot of stuff for RSR lately. Like I said earlier, we're just now finishing up season 1 of Star Trek. We're going to take a little bit of a break between season 1 and season 2, and we're going to do the Tron movies.
Oh, nice.
Just because there's 2 of them, and then the third one will be coming out like basically at the same time that we'll be getting to it. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do have a new movie coming out.
Just to have a little bit more relevance than a show from the 60s on the feed might be good, I think. Yeah. So we're doing that.
Okay.
On the video game side of Replay, we just posted Medieval 2. We're about to post on Tuesday our replay of Daikatana goes up. That's a really fun one. It's not a good game at all, but it's a really good conversation, I think. Then I've already finished the game that's going to come after that, which is Wario Land 3, and then we're going to be starting on Legends of Mana. So a lot of really cool stuff coming on the channel as far as that's concerned. But probably the biggest thing that's been going on down here in Texas for the last couple of weeks is unfortunately sort of a political thing. So hopefully no one gets mad at me for talking about it, but it has been like literally the biggest thing in all of our lives down here for the last couple of weeks.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that is going on down there where you're at. Yep. With the redistricting and all that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you've heard about it because I've talked to people like in other states who just did not know what's happening at all.
Oh yeah. It's
but
dirty.
Basically
it's dirty pool. Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad. Like worse than I think a lot of people understand. Because so basically the president asked our governor, Greg Abbott, who's a piece of shit, and everyone knows it. Like everyone's already been mad at Greg Abbott for years.
Oh yeah.
Because he refuses to put money into, like, for example, our electric grid so that it doesn't go down when it freezes. People are still mad at him for that because we had to like boil water for a week when that happened last time.
Ridiculous. And also, your governor is no better because he went on vacation as you all were gone.
Oh yeah, Senator Ted.
Senator, should I say?
Absolute douchebag.
Yeah.
So it's a mess. But so the president asked him to basically just like gerrymander our state so that you could get rid of 5 Democratic seats in the Congress, the House of Representatives before midterms, because they know that they're going to lose really hard in 2026 because they've been screwing up everything, frankly. Mm-hmm. So our president wanted to do that, but all of our Democrats in the Texas state Senate and House did what's called a quorum break. So they left the state so that they wouldn't have enough people in the House to qualify as a legally binding gathering, basically, so that nothing that they did in there could work.
Then they tried to claim, we'll have you arrested.
They did, yeah. And unfortunately, Kash Patel over in the FBI was like, yeah, okay, we'll go get them. And then like there was a lot of threats being made to their families and stuff. So they ended up being able to stay out for 15 days, which delayed the thing dramatically, and makes it so they have to start a second special session. And more importantly, I think made it like a thing that the rest of the country knows is happening. But they had to come back. And now the craziest part of it is that right now, specifically my representative, her name is Nicole Collins. She is being basically held hostage in our House of Representatives because they're forcing her and all the people who came back to sign basically like warrants for their own arrest to an extent. Like it's basically a permission slip that would make it so that the only way that they can leave the House of Representatives is if they are accompanied by a police officer who will arrest them and drag them back when it's time to vote.
That's pretty crazy.
And so she's refusing to sign that, obviously. And so she has spent the last, I think, 2 nights sleeping on the House floor. So that shit's insane. And for people who don't necessarily understand how bad the gerrymandering in Texas is right now, the map that they have proposed is directly designed to disenfranchise and limit the power that people of color have in their vote by splitting it up into as small of pieces as humanly possible.
It's disgusting.
So
they did it so bad where, like Satnus just mentioned, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, it would actually X her out of her own area, wouldn't it?
It would. It pushes her into a different district that she would win. Everyone, like the Democrats in Texas, really like her. She's probably our biggest name, so she'll continue to have a spot. It'll just be a different spot.
That's crazy.
And that's like one of the things that people are really hoping for is that they've spread it so thin that they won't have enough like Republican votes in the areas to maintain it, and so they may actually end up screwing themselves over. That's what we're hoping for. But
yeah,
because people have run the numbers basically on like how spread thin the Black and Latino votes are going to be in Texas, and they found out that like mathematically a Black vote in Texas, where there are more Black people than any other state, their vote would only count for 1/5 as much as a white Texan.
Oh wow! So they went back to making us the 1/5 rule basically instead of 1/3 is 1/5. Okay, wow, that's pretty damn dirty.
No, it's worse. It's literally worse than Jim Crow era, because Jim Crow era, famously there was the 3/5 compromise.
3/5,
where every Black person's vote would count for 3/5 of a vote. In this case, it counts for 1/5 of a vote. So Texas is actually further back than immediately after the end of slavery. So that's neat. And then the Latino vote is being spread as thin as 1/3. So they'll have 1/3 the voting power.
That's
which is horrendous and super illegal.
It's I could go on and on. I know about the Gavin Newsom thing going on, and they're fighting back with that. And I want the Dems to do more of that. Dems to me have always been very weak. We've talked about this before. And that's why I'm where I'm at now when it comes to things. I don't claim allegiance to any of these parties. I just hate to see how a lot of this stuff is done, and it's dirty and it's right in our faces, and it's like no shame, and there's no pushback or fighting back. So I don't want us to get into this too much from that though, because I did want you to get those bars off, but I know some people are like, oh my God, this is politics. I don't want. I already know.
And I apologize for that, but unfortunately, it's like literally the biggest thing going on.
No, you're right. It was something. It definitely matters. I don't have any problem hearing it. I just know how some people will be, but get it out there.
It is a big deal. I'm sorry that and it does unfortunately also impact a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about in the news roundup.
That's
today,
true.
Too, so
one in particular for sure.
So
that said, actually two things in particular, two major things actually, because the Ally as well, because of the pricing.
Right.
That said, myself, I had played through Mafia. I gave it about an 8 out of 10. I thought it was worthy of that. Loved it. This is Mafia: The Old Country, for those wondering. Beautiful game. Unreal Engine, of course. It's going to look good. But I love the setting, man. I thought the voice acting was, as a friend of mine would say, stellar. Voice acting was really top notch. They also have the option of you changing the language to Sicilian, so you can have them speak in a natural tongue. Or natural. Yeah, I said it right. I don't want to be extra. But yeah, this is really well done. I think the story is cliche to a point. But like, if you've seen so many of these mafia movies, you kind of understand how it's going to go, right? So it's cliche in that way. Like, oh, they're going to turn on you at this point, or this person's going to do this, or you're going to have to go kill this person, or something like that, right? Like, you'll understand it when you play it. You'll know, kind of like, okay, I can see where this is going. So I don't think the story is like dramatically like ground shaking or ground breaking or anything like that. But it is a decent story, a decent narrative. You're limited in how it's an open world, but the way you go around to like find collectibles or whatever they may be. El Chapo, me too. But I didn't want to deviate us to that too much, but because we would get into that and talk about it all day. But yeah, I felt like it was a really good game. You like I said, when you have the open world, it's much like the Mafia Definitive Edition and other Mafia games. If you all have played them, you have to go to like the Carpedia, whatever they call it, or the free roam option outside of the main game to go drive around and find like the Playboy magazines and stuff. In this one, you don't find Playboy magazines. You'll find like Saints, like cards for the Saints, like Saint Augustine or somebody, and what else?
I will say, because I was in Italy last year, and they
right.
basically do have they may as well have trading cards for the Saints out there. Like it's not even a joke.
Oh,
like,
they really got it like that. Oh, okay.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we went to Assisi, which is where Saint something with an F is from. Yeah. And there were like stores propped open that were just selling merch of the newest named saint, who was like he's being hailed as like the first millennial fucking saint or something.
I didn't know they were still making people like saints like that.
Oh yeah, they ratify new dudes every couple of years.
I had no idea. I thought that was like something ancient past. But yeah, like that's pretty dope, man. But no, you basically getting trading cards more or less of the saints in the game. That, and you will find like these things called Trinokias. I can't remember the naming of it. They're old like relics and stuff, because you got to keep in mind, I mean, you're in Italy, right? And clearly you find there's a lot of ruins and stuff. So you'll find that gunplay is pretty solid. It's nothing like monumental, but it's decent enough. It does have a lot of magnetism to it, so you'll kind of lock into where the person you're aiming in a way. But you can turn it off if you desire. You get a lot of old school weaponry, nothing that's too modern, obviously. Although if you have played the other Mafias, they will acknowledge that because of the connection to. It's not Ubisoft. Who was that? I forgot. 2K. They'll acknowledge that you've played it because they've got your record, so that you can get like Lincoln's gun, for instance, is 1911. You can get that as a prize, basically, because you played those other games. Like you get that, and you get other things from the other games. So that's pretty cool. But it's just a really good game, man. Really great voice acting in it. Beautiful visuals. It really does pull you into that era. For horseback riding, you do have a few races. I think 2 main races, which I was worried about, because if you all have played Mafia Definitive Edition, that race in there is an abomination. It took me about 45 tries before I got past that damn thing. It was that ridiculous. But that said, what's up, Risk? He said we got an undercover pony. Wait, who you talking about? Me? Because I played the Mafia? Wait a minute. Oh, well, you know what? You bastard, you. Listen, we will, let me just say, I want everybody in the chat who's coming through. We have a great guest here. I want everybody to keep decorum and be nice. I don't want any attacks and all that. You got to keep respectful to our brother Logic here. No attacks. No, just keep it nice, as Colt would say. Be nice.
No, I appreciate it, Umbra, but they can say whatever they want.
Yeah,
I mean they're gonna say it anyway, whether they say it here or say it elsewhere. So just let them have fun.
Yeah, all right. Keep it nice though, y'all. I don't want y'all attacking this brother, even if he's like, I know he got tough skin, but I don't want you all. Anyhow, that said, let's move to the news roundup, Danny.
So Nintendo has once more failed the make that game challenge. If you don't know, this is a joke that exists inside my head. So obviously you should already know this. But Pokemon, the company, has this really fun trend of just constantly putting out like one-off anime shows, with like, shorts or something, or trailers for, in this case, Pokemon ZA, where it looks like just a much better game or show that they should just make instead. So in this case, they showed off, this one's for me. They showed off a new Mega Pokemon for Pokemon ZA. It is Mega Victory Bell, and it looks really stupid, and that's not the point. The whole trailer is the like two of the main characters walking through like a haunted house full of Pokemon, and it looks so cool. Like, it literally looks like it's Resident Evil but Pokemon. And I'm like, why is that game not being made? Why am I playing dog ass 3 frames a second Pokemon Legends Arceus instead of this? I was so mad looking at it because I'm like, that looks so good. And then it's like, and here's the stupid ass swollen pitcher plant Pokemon that you
be
can hang
careful
out with
now. You're probably gonna
God
draw up the ghost of MJ or somebody to come in here for your Nintendo slander. They go,
look, I love Pokemon, but those games are bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
Every so often they'll show, like, they had what was it? There were like shorts. It was called like Pokemon Origins or something. Like, there were all kinds of little shorts where it's just like, hey man, check out how cool the show could be if it didn't suck ass. And like, now they're doing it for the games too with this trailer. And I'm like, just make Luigi's Mansion, but it's Pokemon or something. Like, I would buy this so fast. Like, damn. Anyway, there's not really a huge news story. I just want to throw it in there. But on a bigger news, Steam might be making like a console sort of again, more like a Steam box, which is not strictly speaking a console, but like basically a console. Apparently some benchmarks have shown up on certain database websites for something called Valve Fremont, which is, I'm sure, a placeholder sort of like name for it.
Yeah.
So it's just very limited, very small time rumors as far as this is concerned so far. But it does have a lot of people starting to think like, oh, maybe they are going to start putting out like Steam boxes again, which I think would make sense. I mean, if we're going into probably a next generation where Steam is playable on an Xbox, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't or wouldn't be able to just make their own little box. I mean, it would be expensive. Like, it's a lot of work on their end to make a new Steam box. So maybe they wouldn't want to. It's possible that this is just them testing some stuff out and we never actually see the fruits of it.
It could.
But I think it would make sense for them to give it a shot. I don't see why not.
They had one before, right, back in the day. Am I wrong with that?
It
logic?
didn't.
They had one like it was the Steam.
Yeah.
They had, so it was a bit of a mix. So of course it was a huge go to market, right, strategic effort that they had underway. They had partnered with lots of different vendors: CyberPower PC, iBuyPower. Lots of the vendors, I mean, all the vendors provided like different form factors. They were available on Steam, so you could go to the Steam app and they would be presented like on the front page. And there were, I can't remember exactly how many different models there were, all different specs, all different form factors. They didn't sell particularly well. There was supposed to be a larger commercial effort of these things eventually get themselves into like a Best Buy or something like that. But the way I remember it, Steam's kind of there was a lack of confidence in Steam's commitment to following through with software compatibility and support, and so a lot of the larger vendors who like at that time were and still are, but it was kind of in an era where there was a lot of PC growth. So I want to say it was before we really hit this point where, for several years, with the advent of smartphones and tablets and Chromebooks, and in particular the iPad kind of scaling up right in its compute capability, and implementations in the operating system. We eventually hit a point where laptop shipments started to recede, and people weren't, and we've been in this trough for a while where it's constantly a problem to make laptops sell really well. So so a lot of the vendors got skittish, and a lot of them flipped a lot of their plans to support Steam boxes and get them out to major retail sales, flipped them to being Windows boxes. So in fact, I had one. This was, I wouldn't say this was probably like 2014. I had a Alienware Alpha, which I walked into Best Buy and bought. It was like a $500 box. It ran on like a Core i3 at the time. And I want to say had like a very low end kind of AMD GPU in it, I think is what it had in it. But it played most games fine. Like at the time, I was not kind of the performance snob that I am now. So it was serviceable. It was fine. It was not. It was definitely not something I would prefer now. I also didn't have it like in the living room. So at the time, we were I think we were still in like Steam Big Picture mode kind of era, where like Steam Big Picture mode is kind of now just the norm, right, for Steam when you're on a Steam Deck. It's a lot more, so it gets a lot more use today, right? Steam Big Picture mode, which originally came along to support people being able to use their PCs in the living room, never really caught fire. Like some people used it, but it wasn't nearly as popular as it's become on the Steam Deck. So yeah, I mean, these things have been around before. There was an effort to make a go of them. Didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
But all the indications, right, of things that have been occurring since, the turning of the corner from 2024 to 2025 is that, Valve is probably likely to make a go at this again, because essentially they've been able to prototype and experiment, and really, I wouldn't say perfect, but definitely, be better, get better about what Steam OS is, when it's in use as an operating system, and not just the app itself, and working with Proton and the additional abstraction layer. And we have reports now where on certain handhelds running Steam OS, some of the games are actually running better in Steam OS through Proton than they actually run natively in Windows. So if Steam could make a go at it and provide a viable alternative to Windows, I think Windows 11 has been much maligned. There's a lot of things that that Windows does that are just unnecessary and not really user friendly.
Right.
Particularly for people who literally only use the operating system to play games. Like that's all they want it for. Right. So take content creators off the table. Right. People who just want to play games. Yeah. Like they don't and even me who wants to use it for more than a game, right? I've paid for my Windows 10, 11 license, right? I've given Microsoft money. I don't need to be nagged every 3 times I get an operating system update with these same 3 questions, right? Like it's Rick Grimes vetting me to join the survivors, like in The Walking Dead. It's like, dude, I've answered these same 3 questions. Yeah, how many walkers have you killed? How many humans have you killed? Why? I've answered these 3 questions for you.
Leave me be.
Yeah, exactly. I always answer them no. Like I don't want to be bothered. I don't need BitTorrent. I don't need BitLocker. I don't need you to do backups for me. I don't want you to upgrade my Microsoft Edge like settings. Like just stop. So that type of stuff, right? And then we also have the thing of where you get apps from the store like inserted in your start menu. It's not actually the app, right? It's basically an advertisement in your start menu. And so it hasn't installed the app, but if you click it, right, it'll, I don't think it actually installs the app, but I think it takes you to the store to install the app. And I'm just like, I don't need that. So things like that, like get people cranky. There's still stuff. And so, where you have Steam that largely appeals to like your DIY audience who are really like your high performance, right, PC gamers who, might be looking for an alternative, then it may have a wider opportunity to kind of get some traction this time around.
And that being the case, like it because I think at the time some things are said about timing, right? Microsoft is often talked about being like, the futurists, they look ahead of what they want to do, but it often feels like, or at least at times, not often, but it has not paid off at times because they've been too future forward, and the world or the gaming world may not have been ready for it yet in certain things that now is like commonplace. And I think that was the case possibly with Steam back in that time. Now, with the advent of, how Steam has improved dramatically since that point itself, as an OS and everything else. Like now, the way it's operating, it might be more appealing to people, I would say. I just wonder how they would fit in with, Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo in this case. But some of the specs I'll say before we move on is saying that it's got a custom AMD APU with a 6-core 12-thread Zen Forge CPU, AMD Radeon RX 7600 GPU, likely bundled with a new ibex gamepad. That's the rumored benchmarks and everything else with it right there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you all in the chat, would you all be interested in that? Let me know. Let us know in the chat. Would you all care to get that possibly? Would you be interested thinking about it? Or, yeah. I mean, the future seems crazy because we know Xbox is going to have a more unified kind of situation where you'll be able to play, storefronts of Steam and Epic and GOG along with the Xbox ecosystem itself in the game storefront from the Xbox. So something like this, where it seems more attuned to actual PC gaming, and that's what Microsoft is going to, and likely what Sony is going to, seems kind of funny how times have changed, man. Like we're in a new era right here. We're going to like some uncharted ground in this right here. In ways at least.
I mean, I'll say, so for me personally, like my perspective is, so there was a lot of chatter when the Steam Deck launched, right, that it was going to be a Switch killer, right? And I remember a person saying to me, when I said like, no, this is a PC, we shouldn't be telling people that it's a console. The person's, and I said, and they need to understand it's a PC, but it's also very much kind of locked in its configuration, right? Unless you want to get it under the hood and farkle around with it. And so like, and I was like, well, normals aren't going to understand you're going to give them this thing, and they're not going to be able to run Game Pass on it, right? And the person was like, well, you can mod it, you can do all this stuff to it. And I said, okay, we're talking about normals. And he said to me, well, it'll be fine. They'll just go to YouTube and watch a video and it'll work. It'll just work. And I was like, maybe it sounds like maybe you've never like stripped one of these things down to like bare metal from an operating perspective and like, tried to run some script or set of instructions that have been posted in like the XDA forums and had it blow up in your face, because people are like, even engineers, like real engineers, were bad at documentation, right? We skip steps that for us are just like natural that we expect people to like, and so documentation out in the public space can tend to be even worse and really get yourself into trouble, because somebody left out a step, right, and something like that. So for me, this is still not a thing for. In my mind, I still don't put this in the same bucket that I put like an Xbox, right, or the next PlayStation.
Right.
It's still something that I feel like is gonna, a person should have some knowledge, right, so that when something goes bump in the night, right, that's unexpected, they know how to deal with it. But like I said, it'll be interesting. I think where this hits the market is it hits on. It doesn't hit on your high-end DIY crowd who wants to run a 5080 or a 4080, right? But it hits your people who are, no offense to those people who are still running around buying 8 gigabyte GPUs, right? And are like just like the basic PC experience, to play Fortnite, right, and things like that. You're kind of esports crowd or your people without high-end spec requirements.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to keep an eye out for Fremont here, see what they do. It always felt like, I know they're making money hand over fist, so their R&D for this, they got more than enough to do what they need to do. So, but we'll see. I feel like I'm sold on just being PC going forward, but I am excited, man, for next gen for everybody. Like I said, with the combination of these different storefronts and everything and being more streamlined into one package like that, I'm excited for those still on console in this way. So. Hey MJ, you missed a bit of the Nintendo slander. You missed a bit. You got here late. You already missed some.
Don't worry about it. Nobody said nothing.
Yeah. But what else do we have, Danny?
Hey, we got confirmation that Double Fine is working really hard. This is another one of those probably smaller stories, but they were talking about Keeper in an interview at Gamescom. and I don't know. I think maybe partially out of like a amount of defensiveness, because I'm sure that they're getting a lot of flack for how weird of a gamekeeper looks like. But Tim Schafer seems to have felt compelled to have made clear, hey, we have a bunch of other teams also working on other stuff, which I feel like should have been clear, because A, they've always done that, and B, Keeper's clearly like a pretty small game. Now, there's no idea, obviously, no reveal or any even hinting at what the other games that they might be working on would be. It's unlikely that they're sequels, being as how I'm pretty sure Psychonauts 2 is like the only direct sequel they've ever done.
Right.
But they've always done a lot of really cool, weird stuff, and it seems like, they are going to continue to do that. They are notably one of the few studios that, at least to my knowledge, have not been really touched at all by the tons of layoffs over the last 2 years. So whatever they're doing, they seem to be able to do it at a price point that people are happy with.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I forgot about that. There, they really haven't. Well, at least I haven't heard any news of them having layoffs there in their department, or their studio rather. I'm happy to hear that they're working on multiple things. The Keeper, what's you guys' thoughts on Keeper quickly, I suppose? What's your view of it? Because it looks really quirky. I'm watching the whole, lighthouse or whatever move around, and so I'm like, okay? I don't quite understand the gameplay loop yet, but what's you guys feeling on it?
I'll let you go first there, Logic.
It just hasn't really I see it, I note it, I look at it, at the corner of my eye. When it comes up, I'll be interested to pay attention. But other than that, it hasn't hit my my radar. It's out this year. Is it out October 17th?
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah,
this
I don't
year.
remember the exact date. But yeah,
I forgot the exact date, but it's definitely this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's October 17th. So, it's super, super crowded going into the fall.
Yeah, it is.
Next week is one of the most bonga weeks in a pretty bonga year in gaming that we've had already, right? With 6 or 7 major significant releases coming out next week. I just don't know that there's going to be room in space, right, to give this air for me. But it'll be available in Game Pass. It's kind of one of those things that for me, I can just always kind of bank, right, to get back to. So it'll be interesting to see how it lands and what the buzz is around it.
Yeah, but no, it's going to be a strong month, like you said, and the next week and going forward, September too is going to be really. Oh yeah, well, next week will be.
It's been a strong year, I think, frankly.
Well, no, next week I'm talking about. I'm way ahead of the time. It's only the 21st, but yeah, September is going to be strong too. What were you saying, Danny? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying. I think I'm pretty much in the same boat there. I don't. It's not like a game that I'm excited for or really looking forward to, but it looks interesting. It looks really unique. I think that I'm sure it'll have a really low play time. I'm sure it'll be a pretty small game. So yeah, maybe I'll jump into that some weekend and just give it a shot. But yeah, I would be surprised if it's one that people are talking about at the end of the year. But who knows? I don't know. Double Fine has done some really good work in the past, so who's to say?
I love Double Fine. Schafer to me is one of those creators you know that he loves what he's doing. His team loves what they do. But you're never going to get some super AAA big game out of them. But what they give you will be its own wholly unique thing, So I love that they have that, and I hope nothing happens to them as far as them being with Microsoft. But yeah, I got nothing but love for Schafer. I mean, the man is an icon in the gaming industry, giving us tons of great, IP over the years. And I like that they're also creating still new stuff. So that's pretty dope.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're one of those studios that you can always count on to surprise you.
Yep. But what else? What else did we have?
Yeah. In other news, we also from Gamescom, sort of, we got our first look at Fallout Season 2. There's some pretty interesting stuff coming out of here. It's, it was just a teaser trailer. We're going to get a full trailer, presumably closer to the end of the year, because we know it's coming out December now, which is pretty cool. We got a look at a lot of things that I was not expecting us to see, from the New Vegas sort of game. I was not expecting. I mean, I would have expected that we would see the strip. I was not expecting for us to have some extended sequence. It looks like over at Novak, although I guess I should have, because that's one of the more iconic locations in that game. We also get our first look at Mr. House. We get our first look at Caesar's Legion. We get a little bit of a tease of a Deathclaw. It looks like season 2 is going to be just as good, maybe even crazier than season 1, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So I saw the trailer for season 2, man. Looks damn good. Very New Vegas-y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super excited for it. It's crazy. It feels kind of crazy how fast they had this kind of turnaround to get a new season out. Like when we see how long it takes for these other series to get that going at the same time. So I'm excited for it for sure. And it's coming out this year. I wouldn't have expected.
This year, baby.
Yeah. Happy for it. A great cast, obviously. If you all have not seen Fallout, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you should get on it. But yeah, super hyped. Super hyped.
We also have some, I would say, bad news, generally speaking, although it may, I don't know. It's definitely bad news, but it has like a weird silver lining to it. So over the BioShock team over at Cloud Chamber, they've been working on BioShock 4, which, I don't know, but potentially could get a different tag name at some point. We don't know anything about that game. I think there was a rumor at one point that it was going to be in space, like it was going to be some kind of like moon or Mars colony or something. But anyway, they have suffered some pretty dramatic cuts. They have lost a third of their team, which is terrible, obviously. But also, as a weird sort of like secondary story on top of this, Rod Fergusson, previously from the Coalition and then over at Blizzard working on Diablo, has left the Diablo team to go and head up the BioShock team over at Cloud Chamber, which is interesting. I don't know that that's gonna help in that situation necessarily. I mean, I do like him. I think he's a good leader. He's put out some good projects in the past, but I don't know. I just see it as such a weird thing to be like, hey, we're gonna cut literally a third of this team, and then we're gonna throw you in there and just hope for the best. You know? Something about it just like doesn't hit right. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, man. No, it's ridiculous. It's been a lot of movement now, actually, though, besides Fergusson here.
Yeah.
But what's you guys' thoughts on, or Logic, I guess your thoughts on Fergusson joining with that team? I would be honest, I didn't think he would stick with ABK that long, seeing how he tends to move every 4 or 5 years, it seems like.
He's never really stuck in the same place for too long. But it is weird. I think it's not weird timing for me that he's moving. I think it's weird that it's like on the back of these huge layoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It just feels weird.
It does feel like he's like that.
Yeah.
Get going while the going is good, basically, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I will say I hope, or at least he's the man is good at what he does. I do expect them to kind of right the ship over there. I will say.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way for them to go but up, I suppose, in this situation. Like they're going to have to basically redo large swaths of whatever it seems like. So, I don't know. Do you have any faith in him, Logic, going for that and like for the project for what you call it for
BioShock.
BioShock. I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, I do. I mean, you guys open up several forks in that. So first of all, with regards to the layoffs, him exiting at that point doesn't entirely surprise me. Having been at a large company and gone through like waves and waves and waves of layoffs, I've talked about this often before, but typically the way it goes is the first round. You get rid of the low performers, right? You're trying to cut the fat, you're trying to cut the excess, you're trying to cut the inefficiencies. The second round, you start really kind of narrowing down and nailing in on the people who are yea, verily, maybe generalists, but the people who can replace, because they're flexible and fungible and willing to learn, you start identifying functions where, somebody who maybe you're going to invest in for the long haul is able to cover down on functions of, somebody who's, maybe not covering an essential part of your business or a part of your business that's on the wane. And then you start letting those people go, right, and start cross-training and stuff, maybe some of your additional workforce. About the third round, you start doing this thing that we call, now you're starting to cut into muscle, right? You're starting to cut into bone. You're starting to hit people that are doing their jobs, but because you're pivoting or your strategy has changed or whatever, you're starting. This is when like the bad things start happening to good people kind of round. And then one of the additional knock-on forces that we talk about right in that environment is that while all that's going on and your objective is kind of you're starting with kind of the low performers, your high performers who have options, right? They don't have to stick around, right? Those are the people that you need to acknowledge are going to become flight risks because they're not going to bank on the promises that they're told that they're safe. They're not going to bank on the promises that they're not going to be somehow impacted. They're not going to bank on and they're going to know, they're going to understand. I was talking to Brap about this earlier this week, actually, that, yea, verily, you may not get cut, but as they're cutting other people, you do get impacted because now your workload goes up. So, it doesn't surprise me. As you mentioned, Rod's been pretty migratory over his career. I think it's good. Another thing that I've talked about is how there are pockets in this industry where I don't, we have creative leaders who have kind of become a cult of personality, and I don't necessarily see them handing off the baton or how they're grooming the next generation behind them. So I think it's good to have this cross-pollination of senior creative leadership, going from studio to studio, and exposing people to like different types of leadership, and those different styles, right, and them getting around. So I think it's good. Hopes I have, I love the BioShock franchise. I'm hoping that this works out well. So as Rod shows up, he didn't have any input on the people who were let go. So I'm hoping this is not him being told, "Hey, welcome aboard, congratulations, now get the job done with 2/3 of the people," right? Like I'm hoping
Right.
this is, hey, come in here, do an assessment, figure out what's not working, figure out if you need to do a reboot, figure out what you need to throw away, and then we'll fund you to rebuild the team right around whatever new creative vision you come up with that is going to work. I'm hoping it's that kind of situation. I'm going to lean on the side of he's in a good place, right? Meaning he's underneath the umbrella of a company that has money and can support, right, that type of development and that stick-to-itiveness. He is also at a company that is extremely brutal from a commercial perspective, and won't hesitate to shut something down if it's not working. So I just hope he's the right fit in the right time, right, for the right job.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Sotness asks a great question. He said, what even is BioShock without a deconstructive mind like Ken Levine? Regular story, big whoop. And it does seem like if you don't have I guess, I don't want to say the right creator, but if you don't have the person who, one of the originators, or the originator in this case, you might feel like it's a bit soulless. I wonder.
Yeah. Although apparently his game's going through some troubles of their own over at Judas. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. What else did we have, Danny?
let's see. Hey, good news for people who have been waiting for this forever. It looks like the next Forza Horizon 6 might be in Japan. There was a company that accidentally, well, not accidentally, but incorrectly posted something on Instagram, basically saying that they were scanning Japanese K cars for the next Forza Horizon game. K cars being just like very small, compact cars that they really like in Japan because there's very small.
What what's up with our Japanese brothers and sisters with that? They love like little compact, like little dogs and everything else. What's up with that?
There's very small living spaces in Japan, particularly in the cities. If you live anywhere near the cities, which a lot of people in Japan have been migrating towards cities for the last like couple decades now, to the point where there's a lot of, frankly, ghost towns out in the country. But the spaces there are incredibly small. A lot of times people don't even have cars, and when they do, finding parking for them can be pretty tough. So they do prefer they don't necessarily prefer smaller living spaces, but because they have the smaller living spaces, they do tend to prefer smaller things. It's honestly probably a big reason why the Switch does so well over there.
That's actually a good point. That's something. Yeah. Yeah, you might be right about that, Greg. Clockwork Revolution will likely be better than BioShock 4.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
I got some of the trailers playing for Gamescom already, just because there's so much shown that I figure, like, why not? This right here is Lords of the Fallen 2. Looking pretty good. I mean, it's a little CGI trailer, so I can't comment on the gameplay, but...
So, Umbra, can I break it real quick? Because I just saw the guy. I just mentioned this earlier this week. So the guy who just came on screen, is this... Which trailer is this? Was this the Lords of the Fallen 2 trailer?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so the guy that older guy who was just on the screen, I swear to me, he looks a lot like Renoir in Expedition 33.
I can kind of see that.
Let
me go back. Let me go back to it. You keep talking. I'll go back to it to find it.
Yeah, no. I don't have anything else to say. That was
the whole point.
I was saying that last night. I was like, I saw a guy come across the screen who looked just like that dude from Expedition 33, but I couldn't remember what game and trailer it was.
Let's see. Okay, that must be him right there.
That guy right there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Follow me, my son." A little bit. Yeah, I mean the one eye thing, or at least the pupil looks a little off, but I guess I can see it. Yeah. You know what it is too. You know what it probably is. And I've said this playing other games with Unreal. This is Unreal Engine, so like a lot of the times, the character design seem that's probably what it is more than anything else, I would imagine, because it has that same visual, sharpness and presentation in a lot of ways. She just snapped this guy's neck all over the place.
Not in Unreal Engine.
Hey, listen. Listen. Nothing is perfect. What else do we have, Danny?
This is another smaller one, but hey, we got a release date for Silksong. Silksong is real, and it's apparently coming out September 4th, which is soon, like real soon.
Yes, sir.
I will be buying this day one, even if I don't have time to play it. But baby, we've been waiting.
Cannot wait. Super excited for that. I mean, we had already known, or at least suspected, it would be dropping just before the handhelds went live, obviously. I mean, they alluded to that themselves, showing it on it during the showcase this summer. But, looks good. I've seen some gameplay of it. Saw some shout out to Kay Asante, by the way, and Aaron, who were out there at Gamescom, who got some hands-on time with it and such, as well as with the ROG Ally X and such. Man, it looks good. Super excited for it. If you all have not played Hollow Knight, you are missing out. Great game. Cannot wait. Team Cherry, by the way, is from our Australian brothers. Yeah, Team Cherry, a small team over in Australia, turning out great games.
Yes, sir.
What did you all think about this Resident Evil Requiem? Well, how did it look to you all?
Here's the thing. I think the game looks great. I'm obviously going to play it. I love the Resident Evil games. I have now officially played almost all of them, thanks to going back to play the old ones on Ready Set Replay. I hate this trailer, not because it's bad, but because it's like, this feels like such an important scene. I don't know why you would spoil it in a trailer.
I see.
Like, that's insane to me. They're showing the main character's like parent being killed, who is a protagonist in a previous Resident Evil game, getting killed. And it's like, no, that's the thing that you save for the game. You don't need to sell Resident Evil 9 to people. It's Resident Evil 9. They're going to buy it. You don't need to be like, whoa, look, we're doing this thing. But like, no, man, you just spoiled like one of the probably bigger moments of that game.
Yep. And I do get that too. I thought, because I was like, somebody told me this, that's Ashcroft or whatever her name is. And I was like, that's her. Okay. And they were like, well, why would you show her here? And we were having the same discussion as we watched it live. And it does seem to be that she gets killed. We don't know it for certain, but I would imagine, knowing Resident Evil, she's probably turned to some unbelievable, disgusting monster or something, if anything.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not feeling. I will say this. I am not feeling the whole helpless. Oh, I'm a woman trip and fall like I saw in other gameplay where she was doing the old cliche 80s and 90s fall all over the place thing, stumbling over as she tries to escape from this creature. It's like, okay, I do not want to play scared white woman in horror movie simulator. I want to. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to be a badass. Where's Leon? Where's Boulder Man Chris? What's going on here?
Yeah, there were a lot of sort of rumors and things that the protagonist of 9 would be Leon. So it's entirely possible that it's a 2 protagonist situation where you also play as Leon. Especially considering that like part of what they showed off in the first trailer is that you do go back to Raccoon City Police Department, which is like Leon's stomping ground.
Oh yeah.
He's almost certainly he's in it. He could even potentially be playable. Here's what I'll say. I think that it's good. Already I think I like this protagonist better than Ethan from the last 2, because they're both supposed to be afraid, but she actually sounds afraid, and he, for the most part, was going like, "Wow, oh my god, is that a werewolf?" Whoa. So I think she's definitely doing a better job there. I'm definitely more interested in playing as her than I would be in playing a third game with him. I sort of get what you're saying, that like when you play these games, you do want a certain amount of that power fantasy. This reminds me a lot of like PS2 horror, like survival horror games like Haunting Ground or like Rule of Rose. And that sort of gets me interested in a different sort of way. I'm not necessary. My biggest thing with it is that people are like, oh, this just feels like Resident Evil, but just cranked up a little bit. And I'm like, that's pretty much what I would like. But I feel like, I mean, that's what they're saying from the gameplay, like when they get the previews. But then I see the trailers and I'm like, this feels a lot more like a sort of almost like jump scare. Like it feels a lot more like a more traditional survival horror, which is a crazy thing to say in comparison to Resident Evil, which is like the survival horror. But, you know, it's gotten very actiony over the years. So I don't know. I am definitely excited for it, for sure. Like regardless of the situations, like this is going to be one that I do play next year. But I see what you're saying. Like it's an interesting choice to be like, hey, I know you guys hated Ethan Winters. We're gonna put in a new protagonist, and it's a young girl who you don't know. Right. When everyone's like, but I want my Leon, I want my Chris. Like Chris Redfield, Chris and Claire are probably like the main characters of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm willing to ride with it. Like I feel like they've earned my trust at this point.
Yeah, I will give them that. To be fair to Capcom, I mean, they know what they're doing. I'll give them that. I don't know. You know, I will say this too. This is going to sound crazy, but I have not played like 7 and stuff like that and 8. I haven't played those. God. Yeah, I'm behind, man. I was very adverse to kind of giving into the whole first person version of Resident Evil.
Right.
And then I saw some
baby.
Yeah, you know what it is. I was going I am not trying to sit around sitting here with my black ass all scared and terrified. I'm sorry. I that does not appeal to me. I don't know. Logic, are you into those types of games, man? Where you just sitting here scared and some creature is coming around the corner chasing after you? Like,
yeah, what's your hour count on Five Nights?
I'm not a huge survival horror fan. They're interesting. I play them. It's one of my co-hosts on Enough to Keep Going. Enough to Keep Going has gone through like several phases where the co-hosts and I have like been on different podcasts and stuff together. And so you go back maybe a couple iterations before what E2KG is now. And we used to do this thing where each week the other 2 co-hosts would pick what game like the third one had to play. And so one of my co-hosts now, Tilemaster, he and the other guy made me play Outlast.
Oh man, I played that.
That's a hard one to jump in on. That one's like extra jump scary.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, I have some criticisms of it that it's almost all jump scares.
Yeah, for sure. They give you that camera specifically so that you're as close to the jump as possible.
Yeah, but it was an experience. And since then, I've been even less interested in survival horror games. So, Resident Evil 7, I think, was it was a I might be giving it too much credit, but I mean, my feeling was it was kind of like a nice departure from like the previous formulas. It was very kind of interesting from a creative aspect. This, Requiem for me is not lining up as a must play. It maybe eventually be something that I get around to like toe dipping into, but it's not breaking my radar as something I have to get into. I'm kind of in a weird place with that series now where I would prefer kind of more of the action oriented Resident Evil, kind of like a little bit of your 4, 5, and 6 kind of thing.
That's how I feel about it. Yep.
But I acknowledge, right, them, their feeling that it would have been a problem, right, having it be Leon, because he wouldn't be scared of anything. So I get that. That being said, I still like more action oriented, Resident Evil. So
that's how I feel for myself. Like, I don't like the helplessness part. I like give me a chance to fight back. Can I shoot this thing, or
It's weird. I guess it would seem to be weird for people who have like been on the franchise and stuck through every iteration to have become like this kind of a badass in a video game, right? Where you can handle stuff, and then to now hit this curve where now you're a damsel in distress, right? So
right.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. What else? By the way, this is Silent Hill F on the screen. This girl seems like she got possessed. I am actually pretty excited for Silent Hill F. I don't know.
But that's just another survival horror game where you're playing as a damsel in distress.
You know what though? It was what's unique about this? You actually get to fight. Like it has
You're gonna fight. Okay, that's fine.
No, because
she's gonna fight. She's got a gun.
She's gonna fight back, but it's gonna be like like this girl actually is.
She's gonna have the Lara Croft trajectory where she starts like, oh my god, and then
it turns to a badass.
She's just murdering.
That would be hilarious if that happened. But no, like with this one though, this is more like a Soul style, the Silent Hill F. I like that. It's pretty unique. So I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. It looks really good to me. But that said, oh look, they got Call of Duty. What did you all think of Call of Duty 7? Because I'm hearing mixed reactions, and I saw there was a lot of apparent backlash or a lot of dislikes on YouTube for it and such, like 100-some K dislikes. And I'm like, it looks all right to me. I like the new top-down shooter mode thing they got going and all that. Like, I'm not the biggest COD fan, just to throw it out there, but this appeals to me.
Unfortunately, that's also my take. Is I'm not like the biggest Call of Duty guy. I haven't played most of them at this point. But I think it looks more interesting than most of them do. I think the like weird Inception stuff that they're doing in the trailer is a lot more interesting to me than like, we're going to another real war. We're in the Cold War now, and here's this guy, and he's going to be every action movie stereotype you've ever known. You know what I mean?
America.
Yeah. Like this one seems more interesting to me. I'm really this is one that I probably will actually jump in on. I played the last campaign and I thought it was pretty good. And the best parts of it were when it got weird, and this one looks like it's really doubling down on that. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in this. I think that it looks great.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent to me. What about you, Logic? Do you care for any of these COD games? I'm not the biggest, like I said, multiplayer shooter type fan unless it's Halo, but
yeah.
I'm very conflicted.
Yeah.
I dropped off of COD with Modern Warfare 2 and stayed away original Modern Warfare 2. And so stayed away for about a decade. I came back with the Modern Warfare reboot and was kind of coming back to it because what I did for that decade is I would pick the games up like 2 years later or whatever, right, when they were on like a deep discount sale and play the campaign. But I came back with the Modern Warfare reboot, and I was playing the campaign, and then I was like, I'll check out the multiplayer. And this was just right at the time where I was kind of tipping over into that. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and go play gas games, right? Because I always felt like,
ooh,
I don't understand why they're fun or why people enjoy them, and then so for 6 years, I played COD, Halo Infinite, Fortnite. World of Tanks, World of Warships. That has been my main shtick until Expedition 33 came out. So it's funny when I heard about the 4-player co-op, I I mentioned Brap and Slow Mo and Forte on Twitter because we used to run and play Halo Infinite together. And I said, hey, we got to get the squad back together and play this campaign. I said, full on warning, I'm not sticking around for the multiplayer. And then Slow Mo said, I don't believe you. Because Slow Mo and I have played a lot of COD together over the last couple of years. So I am saying right now that I'm looking for some people to squad up and play the co-op campaign.
Nice.
And that's going to be it. I'm going to pick it up and put it down. But I'm hoping I don't get that itch.
That's likely where I'm going to do with it to Logic. I'm likely going to do the campaign. I know it's a 4-player campaign, which is pretty cool. I don't know how that'll spill for the story itself. Probably be more action focused. Oh yeah, just America, fuck yeah, right? But as long as it's really really fun, I can kind of get past that. I don't expect like super like oh look at this novel-esque story. I don't really expect that. So as long as it's really fun and you can, the gunplay is good, which I'm sure it will be, I'm down for that. I like the top-down portion that they got with that twin-stick shooter thing. That looks pretty cool. And I'll probably try out the zombies. I never really played too much of it until the last game, I think. The last game or the game before last, one of the two. But I'm with you on that. I don't really... The time to kill and everything like that in Call of Duty, I just can't get with it, man. I can't get jiggy. I don't know if it's me getting older, but they hand me bullets in my ass like, here. I'm just like, all right, this is not for me.
You can't pair get jiggy with getting older and not expect a joke to show up.
Right. I can't get jiggy with this. They just yeah. But Chronos looks good too. What's up, 108? What's up, Lemon? Yeah, man. What else did we have, Daddy? I do want to. I'm showing this while we talk because people can see this and I can comment as we go along. But
Fair
yeah,
enough. I got just two quick little PlayStation stories, and then we can get right into the sort of main event here. Is number one, we have Pete Parsons over at Bungie stepping down. He was formerly the CEO of Bungie. He's now leaving General Manager Justin Truman in charge. He made a whole statement about like, this guy's really good. He's definitely good. Everything's great. But I have to admit that when you pair this with all of the other recent news around Bungie, it doesn't look great. Realistically, he's probably just collecting his payout from selling and moving on. But the fact this is now like technically the third time he sold the company, and only the first time I think that he's leaving the company, it just doesn't bode well. I think that, I was trying to not buy into the doom and gloom that like Bungie might get closed or like folded into some other stuff. I'm definitely starting to lean more into the pessimistic side now of like, man, I don't know if Bungie still exists in 2028. You know what I mean? I don't know if next gen there's a Bungie.
I'm with you on that. I will say like Parsons leaving like that. Bungie is we've already kind of felt this way. We've talked about this before where a lot of the former team of Bungie weren't even Bungie anyway, but like they're even less so now. Like Bungie is really just Bungie in name only. So it is pretty crazy. I don't know what this means for PlayStation when it comes to them and how they'll use them. But yeah, I've seen a lot of the reactions around it and it's not positive.
No, certainly not.
Yep. What else did we have?
Also in PlayStation news, they have officially sold Evo. They bought it and did not a ton with it, admittedly.
That surprised me more right there, actually. I was like, why did they got that for nothing?
Well, because they're making this huge push into games as a service, and I feel like fighting games is such a big part of that potential. I mean, not traditionally, I guess you don't look at it in the same light as like Fortnite, but it is definitely a games as a service platform, most fighting games. It's weird to me that they're dropping it like this. I mean, they're selling it to a company called Nodwin or No Dwin, I don't know, which they do have stake in. So, like, strictly speaking, they do like still, I guess, partially own it. But it's strange to me because they bought this, I don't know how long ago, a couple years, I guess, at this point. And they've done some things to sort of like posture towards it. They've done a lot of like getting fighting games as either exclusives or times exclusives. And a lot of like partnerships for fighting sticks and things like that. But we've never, at least I've never heard of them really like super going hard into, we're gonna turn Evo around and we're gonna turn it into like this really big thing, which like it's already relatively big, but you know what I mean. And now they're just kind of moving on from it, and it does feel a little bit like, what was your plan with it? Because clearly you didn't follow through on whatever that was.
Yeah, it just seems like a waste. I mean, I'm sure they know where they're headed with it, but it just seems like, okay. I will say maybe Microsoft should step up to the plate and try to get a hold of that too. But Microsoft actually, I'll take that back. Microsoft,
I don't think they would.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to.
Yeah, ignore what I said. Yeah. Hopefully, they do well. I paused this video just to show this because we were watching this the other day and we're like, all these tank games. This man did an Akira slide with a tank. Did anybody else notice that? Did anybody see this? I'm like, that's some. Look, there it is right there. Look at that.
I'll never forget it.
Oh, that was some anime shit right there. That was dope. This man, he pulled the Akira slide with a tank. Like, yeah. All right, I see you all. Let me pause this. I'm going to showcase. Shout out to our good brother, Yuri, who is one of the developers of Replaced. So this is some Replaced gameplay. I told him I will make sure to highlight this. Highly anticipated. But many of us have been waiting for this. The game looks phenomenal. I've heard nothing but good things about it from those who are there. Shout out to Aaron, who had a chance to get some hands-on time with it. We were talking about it in Discord a while ago. He said that it has, as you can see it anyway on the gameplay here that they're showcasing, from all the different things that's moving on screen, like just, be it trash or whatever blowing in the wind. Like, I love stuff like this, man. Like this type of stuff, you only see this level of stuff. Like typically we've seen it in Hollow Knight, we've seen it in Ori. Like this is some high level 2Dification right here. Looks gorgeous. I cannot wait to get into this. I, by the way, I talked to Yuri. I do want to try to get him to jump on the show, and I know a bunch of other people want to talk with him as well. Yeah, and he's open for it as well. So I'm going to get him to come by. Oh, Black Viking played the demo. BV, what was it? How dope was it? He said it was fire. What did you like about it most, BV, if you had to say? Yeah, Yuri is a busy man, nerds. I felt bad to ask him because I know he's so busy and he's a perfectionist. So, but he was like, yeah, I can come through. Blah, blah, blah. So I told him, we would try to keep him maybe for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, nothing too crazy.
Right.
Distract him from what he's doing. But good guy, good dude. We were talking about a few other things like Predator and stuff like that. The new Predator. What's the name of that movie? The animated one they just had.
Was that Badlands or was that?
They had Badlands too, which was live action though, but I forgot the name of it. But
There's
all know.
There's been a couple.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah. What's the name of that dang game? Or not game, but animated one. Killer of Killers. Thank you, nerds. That's
Killer
it.
Of Killers.
That was damn good, by the way, if you all haven't seen it. That said, man, Replace is looking damn good. That got pushed until next year, though, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised though. It's definitely one that it's one of those ones that people have been like really hounding everybody for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did get pushed.
Yeah. Yep. I'm thinking it's next year that it was pushed into. BV said it's 1,000% playable art. It looks like it, man. How was the sound design for you, BV? Was the music really well done in it? Like, has that synth kind of futuristic sound going in it and all that? The gunshots, how does the gun play sound and everything? Like, what's your takeaway in that way, in that regard? No, I'm hyped for this. Looks damn good. I did get an image sent to me since I'm speaking on things shown as far as let me find this if I can. Okay. I don't want to make sure I didn't switch screens by mistake. Okay. That should do it. Yeah, shout out to, like I said, Kay Asante is out there as well in the out in at the Gamescom. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm talking while I'm trying to pull this up, and I'm like, yeah, with the Let me see if I can do this without messing something up.
You're doing great. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. There it is. Oh, this is Soil Tech is out there, by the way, at a concert playing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Bro, just enjoy the concert.
right.
Why did you go to the concert if you didn't just play Donkey Kong?
Yeah, what are you out there playing a game? BV said
Girlfriend dragged him to some shit.
Oh, they're announcing the date this Monday, BV? Okay, they're announcing the date for Replace this Monday. He said it's a 10 out of 10 for him so far.
Hell yeah.
He said, having a good time. I see you, Soil Tech. Hold on one second. And this is our brother K out there. All smiles and such. Eating a fry. What is that in his hand? A fry? Okay.
Why does he look so serious about it?
He does look very serious. Like, listen to me.
He looks like he's about to sue.
Yeah. Listen to me. I'm held hostage. Okay, if you safe out there?
I have a very specific set of skills.
Yeah, right. Fries with mayonnaise, nerds. Anyway, shout out to Kay, shout out to Aaron out there at Gamescom, enjoying it and getting some game talk with the devs and stuff like that. I think that's pretty dope. Yeah, man. Let me switch that back. Before I show the wrong stuff. Okay, there we go. But yeah, did we finish up with the news roundup?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to one of the main topics here and try to get this out of the way. We had to talk, obviously, of some of the politics came up where the president.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Texas is the battleground for a lot of the bullshit because he knows that he can get away with it here.
Unfortunately. But with the tariff hikes, and a lot of people were, apt to try to push back on that, like, the tariffs are not really blah, 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 blah. Now we're finally starting to see them. And somebody was saying, like, that's just them getting over. By the way, that's Igor right there, one of the developers of the game with our brother Yuri. But they were talking about it, and people were like, oh, well, we don't know. The tariffs haven't taken effect. Yeah, of course, they didn't at that point. Now they are. Now we're starting to see the fruits of this terrible labor. And
even before they went into effect, though, most companies were
already guarding. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I was pointing out.
There were some that were holding off on it because they were like, well, we already have, our stock in the thing. You would see a lot of commercials for people who aren't stateside. You would see a lot of commercials be like current stock in before tariffs, so the tariff price isn't in effect yet.
And that's the thing, like that. And that's the thing, right? Because when you started to see people price gouge, basically, and that's the problem I have, because some people were saying, "Oh, that's not really because of the tariffs. That's because they're being greedy." Yeah, I believe that. I believe capitalists are going to be greedy. The problem is they opened the door for that to happen, because now they can blame it on tariffs. Like how often have we had it where the pricing for consoles or whatever goes up in a generation? It doesn't really happen. And we've seen it now with Microsoft. We've seen it now here with Sony. And I just feel like, and also
I would like, sorry, before we get too far separated from it, I would like to make like one sort of clarification is it depends in terms of it being greedy. It depends a lot on the company. If it's a smaller company, it's your mom and pop shop, then it's not them being greedy. It's that they literally have to pass the cost on to you or they will go out of business. Like these tariffs are incredibly detrimental to small businesses.
Yeah.
They're potential, like one side effect that people are thinking is like maybe why they're putting them into effect is specifically to kill smaller businesses so that the big corporates can take over those locations. So if it is your little mom and pop shop, like they do have to raise those prices because they can't afford to import those things and then sell them at the same price. They simply cannot. Whereas a lot of your, big box stores, your Walmarts, your Best Buys, whatever, they in some cases, like Apple, are getting exceptions to the tariffs by giving the president a gold block. I don't know if y'all saw that. Tim Cook,
I saw that.
who the president couldn't even remember his goddamn name. He called him Tim Apple, which is hilarious. Gave him like a gold block and was like, "Please don't make me pay tariffs." And he was like, "Yeah, all right." And so like a lot of big companies are doing dumb shit like that and being able to get around it. So those ones, yeah, absolutely greedy. Also, they could eat the cost if they needed to. They're not going to, but they could. But yes, if you're going to your like local store and their prices are up, just give them a break. You know, they're going through it the same way we are.
No, you're absolutely right, and that is. It seems comical. That's why I had to laugh. Like, yeah, they're literally bribing him. Like, yo, here, let me give you this gold right here, so you can leave me alone.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in this world?
It was the same reason they canceled Colbert. Is they canceled the Colbert show so that Skydance
so they can get their merger
could merge with Paramount.
Yeah. I do not mean to laugh. It's just kind of funny how it's so blatant in our face.
Yeah,
it's like open, like we're seeing it happen in real time, and it's like, okay, it's the new normal right here. But yeah, literally, they came and bribed the man. Oh, look at this gold, blah blah blah. First time ever we've had this, and we made it just for you, Mr. President. Okay, no tariffs for you. All right, okay. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let me read this blurb and I'll get to you on this logic. Sony announces price hikes on the PlayStation 5 in the US. The base PS5 is now $549.99. Sony is raising, let me move this over from me. Sony is raising the retail price of the PlayStation 5 across the board in the US. The company announced Wednesday, starting August 21st, which is today, the price of all PS5 consoles will go up by $50, an increase that Sony Interactive Entertainment VP of Global Marketing, Isabel Tomatis, attributes to a challenging economic environment. How many times have we seen that?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately true, but it is, when it comes from a big company from this, you like don't necessarily feel as bad about it, but it is true. Like,
yeah,
it is
a reality for sure. It just seems like a kind of stale, like go-to thing to say now. The response, the economic upturn or economic whatever they'll use, but yeah, and
well,
I don't
think it'll be, do they bring any of the prices back down if in a couple of years we're able to get these tariffs out of there?
That's
the answer
what
is
I'm wondering.
Probably not.
Probably not. Now, this, I want to be clear when I'm saying all of this. I am not at all trying to fault like Sony, you dirty, whatever. Microsoft did this too, right? And they did it. Obviously, it's influenced the ROG Ally X, which we'll be getting to next. But this right here, I'm blaming squarely on the man in the office now. But I'm just saying, like, look at how this has affected things right here. And we're going to see more dramatic stuff going forward. Like, don't think this is the end of it. And I'm not talking about just like electronics. I'm talking about real stuff that matters. PlayStation 5, $549.99 was $499.99. PlayStation 5 digital. Does anyone even see digital editions out there anymore? $499.99, which was $449.99, and the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is $749.99 now, which was $700. Sony says it's not raising prices on PS5 accessories like the DualSense controller and PlayStation Portal, nor is it raising prices on PS5 consoles outside of the US. So it's very specific to us.
Yeah. Well, it's
You go ahead.
That is sort of a lie in that they're not raising the prices outside of the U.S. right now, but they have already this year raised the price in Canada and Latin America and across Europe. So like they've already done it. Like you know what I mean? Like they've already done all the price raising. They might do more price raising in the future, I guess, is what they're leaving the door open to. Like the U.S. was one of the last places they raised the price. Yeah,
we were one of the last bastions of hope. And that hope is now squashed. So the move follows similar price increases from Microsoft on the Xbox console and Nintendo on original Switch consoles. Nintendo seems kind of ridiculous to me, just because like it's so much of those things sold off. You might as well just let that thing get sunsetted out of there. Anyway, Sony's announcement of more expensive PS5 consoles in the U.S. comes just a few months after SIE raised prices on the PS5 and other tier. To your point, literally, to your point, including Europe, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. The Kiwis. In May, Sony said it had a 3-month stockpile of PlayStation 5 consoles earmarked for the U.S., presumably a wait-and-see strategy for handling U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on China. where some PlayStation hardware is manufactured, while Sony president and CEO Hiroki Totoki floated the idea of making PlayStation hardware in the U.S. to bypass tariffs, which I don't believe. He floated that, but no, there's no way they would do that. It's way more expensive to do stuff here, and it will be way more expensive once they try to sell it to us. So, yeah, Logic, I'll go to you on this, brother. What's your thoughts on this right here? I mean, again, we kind of front-loaded that with who we know is to blame. I do not blame Sony specifically for this. This is a thing that's going to be affecting a lot of different businesses. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, what I would expect to see is kind of as Matt Piscatella and MPD kind of talked about earlier in the year. I want to say they put this out like in March, I think. That this is gonna exacerbate what will probably be a chilling effect on the purchase of consumer electronics and consumer spending. And then one of the other knock-on effects will be as we head into the bottom half of the year, will be a rising rising numbers of subscriptions as people kind of look for shelters right in entertainment spending, and a way to carry their dollar further and not spend as much on entertainment, including video games. So, and if that chilling effect also has the effect of not having people who are still on last gen hardware proceed forward with upgrades that they may have been considering making. Again, that just lends itself more to people signing up for more and more subscriptions, right? Where there's games and on Xbox there's Xbox Cloud Gaming and things like that that can deliver titles to you without necessarily doing a hardware upgrade. So those kind of might be, some of those tactics might be kind of shelter in place tactics that consumers take as far as spending goes to carry them through kind of the fall and into the next quarter, to wait and see if things, get better. Or it may be something that winds up taking root and lasting for the long haul.
Yeah.
Yep. Nerds asked that we already talk about Sony selling the Evo stakes to Nodwin. He said, which is funny because Sony also owns Nodwin. I had no idea.
Right. Well, they don't. So they don't own Nodwin. They have stake in Nodwin. They
own.
I
got you.
Want to say it's like somewhere in the ballpark of 30%.
Okay.
So,
I see.
So they are still selling it to a different entity. It's just funny because effectively they're still going to have some amount of control over Evo, certainly, because they are partial owners of the company that they sold it to.
Got you. Okay.
So it is a weird situation.
Yeah, sounds like it. What does this say? Oh, BV had mentioned, he said, so wait, the Portal was an accessory? I thought they counted it as console sales. I thought that too, BV. MJ says that
I'm pretty sure it gets reported. Yeah. Pretty sure it gets reported as an accessory because it pops up on NPD as a highly sold accessory every couple of months throughout last year. So that wouldn't be happening if they were reporting it at point of sale as a console unit.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my assessment of it.
It's been a while since I looked into it, but I thought it was a point where I do remember them saying like, the sales, and they used that as a measure with it. But I forgot the details behind it. But I don't know.
There was a that note floated itself on the face of the gaming community. I don't believe it was ever tracked back and corroborated to an actual investor statement. It took root and people gained traction with it, and then it was debunked. As far as I know.
I like how you addressed it where you didn't want to. you like that.
Because quite honestly, I can't remember. Yeah. Right, when it was first floated. What I remember is that you couldn't track it back to like an official statement from the company, I think. Right. Or maybe there was a statement that the company was thinking about doing it, but I thought later it got debunked. But like I said, my big point of assessment has been, like I said, every few months it pops up as the highest selling accessory along with the DualSense Edge. There were several months last year where they kind of, it was every 1 month it was the Portal, the next month it was the DualSense Edge, until the Nintendo, and then this year till the Nintendo Switch 2 launched, and now Nintendo Switch 2 accessories keep popping up as the highest selling peripheral on the MPD charts. So like I said, that wouldn't be happening unless they were being broken out. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah. Whatever the case is, I guess it's contentious because some people are like, I don't know, I remember that. Yeah. Either way, that's what they're doing with it now. This game looks really interesting. By the way, our Asian brothers have been cooking with these, like from the China projects at games and stuff like that. Like,
oh, is this the? Okay. Here's the thing. I saw this trailer and I was like, yeah, Umbra's gonna like that one.
you knew it. You knew immediately, huh?
I saw that one and I was like, man, this looks like 5 other games from this year. Umbra's gonna love it because it looks almost exactly like it looks like Wu Chang.
It does.
Like,
yeah. And Black Myth and stuff like
Black
that.
Myth, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we did. I mean, we did get a sequel to Black Myth as well, which we can talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not.
They just showed it a
sequel,
minute
but
ago,
basically.
actually.
Oh,
Zotai,
yeah.
right? Zotai.
Something like that. I'm not as
Zhaotai,
familiar
yeah.
with that Chinese folklore as I am to Journey with the West.
Yeah, same here.
But,
but it does look interesting. I guess it's a spinoff.
Yeah.
I guess it's set in the universe of Black Myth, but yeah. Hype for it. What about this Moonlighters 2? That looks pretty good. Yeah. I've never played through the first one, but I heard the first one was really good too. But that said, yeah, listen, that one, I don't think we needed to spend much time on that one anyway, to be fair. We get the situation is largely due to politics and the person in charge of it right now. But yeah, I just...
it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
It is a mess. I will say this, just to throw it out there, and I don't want to drag us too far into politics, but part of this whole Project 2025 thing is one of the things they're aiming at, and this is gaming related, this is why I'm doing it. One of their pieces of things that they're trying to aim at is gaming, in particular more adult games like Grand Theft Auto, which they name personally, that they may be aiming to try to, censor us from playing. So let's hope they don't go too far in its success, because they've already 50% done with Project 2025.
Right. Well, because there's that, God, what's that other group? I can't remember their name right now, but they had Steam take down a bunch of their shit, and they had itch.io take down a bunch of stuff. Like they are pressure. I wish I could remember the name of the company that's doing it right now, but there is a company that is pressuring payment systems like MasterCard and Visa to lean on digital storefronts to remove certain content, because if you can't receive payment through Visa or MasterCard, then you basically can't receive payment. And so they are basically strong-arming digital marketplaces from basically just removing whatever content that they don't agree with, which where it started was stuff that I think we could all agree with, where it was like, okay, you're removing games that are like rape simulators and incest stuff, and like really gross games like that. But it very quickly spun into just like all things that are considered not safe for work. It spun into they started taking down like little fan projects on D&D sites that were considered too adult oriented. And when you track it back to like the company that is doing it, they're also like extremely anti gay and anti-DEI, and so there's a lot of things where it's like it is a slippery slope to hey, we can't sell I don't know, like Last of Us because the main character is a lesbian, and so a lot of people are really, really against that, myself included. So here we are. Welcome to 2025.
Welcome to 2025. Yeah. Listen, let's move to our last topic for the day.
Does anyone remember the name of that company? Is anyone in the chat saying it right now? Because I wish I could.
Nobody's saying it so far.
More strongly.
If anyone remembers what Danny's talking about specifically, could you mention it in the chat? What's up, Palpatine? Welcome, brother. Man, look, so this is some gameplay. Shout out to ETA Prime. I'll make sure to tag him and anyone else like channels I've shared for this gameplay footage. Available October 16th. The ROG Ally X and ROG Ally. Kay also got some game time on this. He said that he didn't like which I can already see just looking at it, the bezels around this thing are horrendous. If they could kind of fix that, maybe on the next iteration, I can see that. I'm torn on if I want to get this or not. I'm not certain one way or another. At first I was, then I'm kind of like,
Collective Shout. Sorry, the company's called Collective Shout. They're
thanks.
Fucking terrible.
Appreciate it, Biff. And Palpy. I didn't know he said it before.
So I wish I had.
I
if
had
just
no
been
idea
watching
what
chat
they were
instead of
saying when
Googling
they
it
were saying
myself.
that. I thought he was like shouting us out or something. Oops. Thanks. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So collector's shout it was. I mean, listen, I have the Z1. This is the Z2 moving up for here. The games look good on it. This looks phenomenal right here on his gameplay here he's showing. What I love about what they're doing here is, MJ, that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go for the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. But I will say, for those who have not ventured into handhelds, or maybe want to move up to the Z2, I can see the base model, the S version of the handhelds here being right up their ally.
Bruh, you did not just call it the ROG Xbox Ally S.
I did.
That's really funny. That's really funny though. I can't do handhelds. I've talked a bunch on the show about how I don't have a use case for it because I just don't. Like, I don't travel. I can't do it at work. So when I'm at home, I'm just going to play it on the TV. But I will say, so I started trying to use my Switch in handheld mode a little bit when I was playing Wario Land because I wanted to also like watch a movie that I was doing. I hate it. I hate it, actually. Like, now that I'm like actually engaging with it more, using the Switch in handheld mode like genuinely hurts my hands. It is deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. After you hold that thing, like the Switch is not that comfortable because it's so thin, and we have manly hands. So it's like, okay, I have to crunch my hands up to hold that. That's why I started docking mine. I didn't want to hold that anymore.
It's
I just docked it.
The base of my palm where the weight of it is resting, just like it hurts after like 10, 15 minutes, like not long. And I end up having to like rest it on my chest. And like at this point, I may as well have just put it on the TV.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's how I've played it. Like, if I do play it handheld mode, which I have done because I've taken it with me once, it's very limited. I do it maybe 30 minutes so that was it. But other than that, I prefer it just docked. Just dock the thing. And that goes to show like how much ergonomics play into these things, man. This one thing I've heard so many positives about with the Ally here is the ergonomics are great, largely because obviously got the, as they call it, the affectionately the love handles. So
that's why I was doing the walking challenge, was to get rid of my love.
There you go. They got rid of that just to gain these. What I do love is that they would just showcase it on the screen is that Xbox is optimizing all these games, so it takes a lot of the guesswork out, and that's been one of the bigger hurdles because people were like, well, the original ROG, you have to adjust these games and tamper with it to get it to play this right. And I myself have done that and had to dib and dabble and use other websites to show me what good settings work well. Well, what Xbox is doing, they've already worked with thousands of devs and studios, not studios, but devs and people and games to get them optimized, essentially their own Steam Deck verification in a way. And they have the shaders being compiled. Excuse me. And I think are they speaking about that right there? Let me see. Oh, no. So they have all of that kind of taken care of for you. And they've already talked to other developers who are going to get on board. I forget. Let me see if I can find it. I was just reading it, where other developers are going to jump on or can opt in to allow for that. Where did I see that? Oh, here it is. It says, already many Southeast Asian devs are reaching out to me, and this is from Junch Gaming, reaching out to me about the opportunity to start thinking about our handheld platform. Looking forward to supporting more devs. If you have any inquiries, please reach out. And this is for the handheld compatibility program designed by Xbox, which will give developers tools to make games ready to be supported on Windows handhelds. So that's pretty cool. And so this makes it even easier for those wanting to jump into something like this where it's, they're not used to that. The whole streamlined UI where you can just boot right into essentially an Xbox UI. All of that makes it so much easier. Look how gorgeous that looks. That looks really good on that screen. So stuff like that, and that's one-click performance optimization. So AI upscaling, all that good stuff. It looks like they might have a winner here in regards to that. Logic, what's your thoughts on this, my man? Are you interested at all in getting one of these, the S, if you will, or the X handheld from ROG Xbox?
Right now, not at this point, no. I know I said previously I was interested in it, and that was mainly, I will admit, a content creator thing where I just was not. I feel like any reviews that come out of for this thing are going to be bad to the left or bad to the right. Either they're going to be people overhyping the effectiveness of the Windows smoothing and UI optimization, or it's going to be people who aren't in the handheld pool in the first place, and are going to be overly critical of the device. So I was interested in getting one because, quite frankly, I was kind of feeling like I myself was the only person I would trust to effectively take an even-handed look at the device. Where I am right now, just as the year has gone on, and like I said, we're looking at prices increasing right on things across the board. Where I am right now is in the handheld space. What I'm really interested in is I'm interested in more competition. I'm really interested to see. I mean, so this is a good step, right? The Z2 Extreme landing is a nice thing that's going to happen to kind of heat up that market. I am really interested. I think we're going to hit a good boiling point, a better boiling point when we see NVIDIA and MediaTek come to market with their ARM processor. And I'm hoping, I keep crossing my fingers and hoping that Qualcomm will get in the pool, and we'll see additional handhelds running Windows on ARM. And I think that will be particularly exciting. So I think I'm going to hold back this year. I do have a premium handheld on my list of things that I want, but my list of consumer electronic things that I want is like 65 to 67 items right now. So I don't know that it's going to toggle to the top of the queue anytime soon. But I'll take a look at it. My big thing on kind of the market, to go back to when we were having the conversation about the Steam box, I guess, is all these improvements I think can be great, but I think my perspective of the market is that there's a large swath of the market that we who live in the PC space will say, PC gaming. I mean, pick a point on the scale. Let's call it an 8, right? PC gaming is an 8, right, in terms of complexity, self-sysadmin, pain in the ass kind of stuff that you have to deal with, right? And we'll see an improvement, and we'll say, oh yeah, that's an improvement. It's a 5, right? But the rest of the market says that PC complexity and pain in the ass stuff is a 10, right? So pulling it back to the left to a 5 for people who are looking at it as it is today as an 8 isn't the get that I think some people think it is. There's a large swath of the market who wants 0, right, in terms of complexity, pain in the ass stuff that they have to deal with. So until it is 1-to-1 with a console, it's just always going to be seen as different. And I think you're going to have a chunk of people who aren't interested in getting in the pool. Yeah. Sorry. So, I mean, like I said, this is interesting. I'll keep an eye on it. I also think it's going to be super interesting to look at the market. Lots of times we also have conversations where we junk. I talked about the Nintendo Switch earlier, right? And compare like the comparisons to it with the Steam Deck. Yeah. Sometimes in conversations we kind of junk all handhelds into the same bucket. Mm-hmm. And they are in the same bucket in terms of form factor. And maybe to a certain degree in terms of mobility. But then when you look at them through another perspective, right, kind of a Schrodinger's cat kind of thing, it's a different device. When you talk about Steam Deck, when you talk about, ROG Ally and these Windows-based devices, and when you talk about the Switch. So it's just kind of going to be, I think the Switch landing and selling 150 million units kind of kicks off this logic that sometimes people apply that says, oh, so there's large interest in the market in handhelds. And I'm like, I don't know that we know that. I think what we know is that there's a large interest in the market for a handheld Nintendo device. So, we'll see how the rest of it goes.
Yeah, that's... Go ahead, Andy.
Sorry. No, I mean, I've talked about that before, where I feel like too many people jumping into the situation with handhelds would be the same mistake that they made with motion controls with the Wii, where they were like, this is the reason why this Nintendo thing is selling, because of the motion controls. And everyone was like, no, it's because it's the one that has Mario on it. It's the one that has Mario Galaxy, so that's why I bought them.
But yeah, my thing on it is, all of this is interesting when it comes to this. I don't know, pricing wise, I feel like it's a problem. Just looking at it from that perspective. To Risky, you were mentioning they were doing this. This had nothing to do with the tariffs necessarily, or they were doing it before the tariffs, which is true. But that's what I was saying earlier, Risk, where these companies are seeing the tariffs, even if they're not necessarily pricing for the tariff raises increase. They're being the capitalists they're taking advantage of it to say, oh, you know, the macroeconomic climate, so we have to price this at this price. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry.
God.
You know, that's the thing I
chestnut.
dislike. That's the part that gets me, because even if we can argue, well, it's not really the tariffs that did it, well, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, they used it to their advantage one way or another, right? Nintendo is a prime example. Dude came out flat out and said it wasn't the tariffs that did it, but they still raised the price. So they're using it to their advantage when they need to, and he did that before that. So the tariffs may influence the price of the Switch 2 going forward after the fact. Now, that's the part I dislike. This dude has opened the gate for more capitalist greed. You know what I mean? In that regard, even if it's not necessary, it's like something they're going to take advantage of. That's the problem I have with it. So yeah, the ROG Ally S and the ROG Ally X is coming in. Have they officially? I don't think they have officially announced the prices, right? I don't know if Xbox themselves have come out and said it.
I think it's out. I swore
because
I saw the leak, right, which was yesterday.
Yeah,
where like prices were leaked, and then if you went to the Best Buy site, you would see prices were still like to be announced or whatever. But today, I want to say that I definitely saw like a flyer or whatever, right? I don't know, advertisement, whatever you want to call it, right? That officially had the prices announced. But I'm gonna look for it while you guys are talking.
Yeah. So I was thinking if it was official or not, but apparently too, it's saying now it's not. It's now officially the Asus ROG Ally. They play apparently. So $549.99 for the standard model, the S, if you will, and $899 for the X model. By the way, because people were like, I don't really see that because you're paying. And thank you all in the chat for it. They were saying like, yeah, but $899 for this thing.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, right? It's a hell of a lot. But then you look at the current model, the Z1 Extreme, which I have. It's $899.99. It's the same price. They must have raised their price, by the way, because it wasn't $899 when I got it. But that said, I mean, this Z2, there's not a lot that they've upgraded with, if we're being honest, as far as tech inside. I mean, again, it depends on where you're coming from. If you're a pay pig that just wants all the handhelds, you're going to get it, right? Hey, it's for you. If you're not going to be dissatisfied, I would say. If you're coming from not having a handheld at all, or moving up from the Z1 base model, then I think this is worth it in that regard. Maybe for the base model for this one. I think the $899 is going to be purely for, the enthusiasts and pay pigs, right? Mm-hmm. I would say. And some people are going to be like, I'll just get a PC, So I get it. I don't know. I don't think Microsoft is banking on this to do gangbusters or anything like that.
No, that's why they're letting a different company do it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know where they stand at when it comes to that. Soil Tech says he has the Legion Go. I might have to hit up the Latin Quarters. But yeah, I want to hit up Latin Quarters. I wish I had the money to do it right now. I've spent so much money on things this year, from the new PC to the handhelds from the Odin 2 Portal and stuff like that, which is magnificent, that I do not have the change to get what I want right this minute. But if MJ, my good brother, and if, you want to help a brother out. Anyway, all of that said, I think What was you gonna say?
Any idea why this is not available for pre-order?
I don't think
it's
it's
too-
officially out yet. I don't think Microsoft has officially announced it. The pricing.
Yeah, I think it has to have
Yeah,
a
the
price.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they might be contemplating it. Being honest, well, I would imagine because I did see something.
To know.
By now, you would think, right? Yeah, I think though, like, because I did see they were saying that the reason why they didn't announce the pricing at the Summer Games showcase is because they were still trying to figure out where they would land price wise, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, and I still don't see the price like officially plastered. Like I'm on the Best Buy site, it's not on there. I was on the Microsoft site, it's not on there. So I guess it's still technically a leak.
Yeah, it's a leak for now. Yeah. It is what it is. I don't know. I myself, like I said, I'm leaning toward going just because $100 more or $100+ more, you can get like the higher end handheld, such as the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, which I just may do. I just may do that. Get the best of the best. Yeah, what's up, C Steph? He said he didn't know this was on. What's funny? They upped the price, and McDonald's will be pricing down. McDonald's is going down in price.
Yeah.
Trump must have talked to them because he loves McDonald's. He probably.
Well, that's the same. I mean, it's ironic, but it's the same thing that they did during the last. I mean, we're not legally speaking in a recession yet, but it's the same thing they did during the last recession because they were like, we know that this means that we're going to see a certain amount of uptick because everyone else's price is going to have to go up. So they've done this. This is unfortunately a trend with them.
I see.
But a good one, It's kind of,
yeah. And give me some nuggets for cheaper. Yeah.
Are you choking on the nugget?
That's about literally the only thing I will eat from McDonald's. I'll eat their fries, I guess, even though I know they're terrible for you. But the nuggets are about it. I don't touch anything else there. I don't trust anything else from McDonald's anymore. But yeah, Trump loves him some McDonald's, man. Maybe he made a deal with them. Don't raise the price. Give me a lifetime subscription of Diet Coke, and you are good to go.
No, Trump definitely has one of Everborn's charge them more shirts. He doesn't care.
Right. McDonald's came in with a gold wrapped Big Mac. Yes, this is what I like. But anyway, let's get out of here, man. We've exhausted the topics. Shout out to everybody in the chat for being here and coming through. We appreciate it. If you all haven't done it, I did not ask before, if you could kindly hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, if you could subscribe to us, appreciate you guys. Let's get out of here. Logic, my good brother.
Hey, Umbra, can I do one go back?
Sure thing.
Okay, because I'm a pony, so I got to get my thing in here about to defend PlayStation.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So on the portal, so what it was that PlayStation initially asked industry like metrics organizations like Circana to track the portal and report it as console sales. The organizations, including Circana/NPD, refused to do that, and so they report on it as accessories, which is why those NPD numbers come out reporting it as a high selling accessory, not in addition to the console sales. So I guess the question you would ask if you suspected that PlayStation was reporting it anywhere, right? So the industry metrics are based on, I think, mostly on point of sale data that gets submitted by retailers and then the organizations themselves. So it would leave it as a question whether or not PlayStation was reporting that in their console sale numbers when they put out their quarterly earnings, right? And so if they're reporting that they've sold 80 million consoles, then you'd question, well, does that include PlayStation Portal? Then I guess you would need to ask yourself, well, how many portals have they sold? 3 million, 5 million, 10 million? So does that mean that they've still sold 70, 75, 77 million consoles? That's just kind of the mental calculus you would have to run. Or what I might call mental gymnastics you'd have to run, all depending on your point of view or perspective.
Yeah. I couldn't help but crack up because you played into what the people suspected. You say you defend PlayStation. But that said, man, again, I want to thank the chat. And I want to thank our good brother GameLogIQ for coming through, co-host of Enough to Keep Going podcast. I don't know why I said podcast twice. Anyway, thank you, my brother, for coming in and gracing us with your views and your takes and your knowledge. Tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to. I got your information in the description for those who want to follow him on social media and subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It was a good conversation. I enjoyed it. Really liked talking to you guys and getting into some of these topics. If people are interested, they can come through. And as you mentioned earlier, watch the Enough to Keep Going weekly video games podcast on the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube. Like I said, I can't promise a ton of sensationalism or bazingas, but if you want to come through and watch a show about kind of the business, finances, and technology of the industry, and listen to a lot of gameplay, it's an hour and a half show. We spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour of that talking about the games that we're playing, and then get into the news and stuff. So if that interests you, feel free to stop by.
You say no bazingas? Now, bazingas got different connotations now.
Yeah, we don't. I guess what I would say, we don't spend a lot of time arguing, right? We talk about the different perspectives of each co-host, and then we pretty much always end up with, we'll see how it goes, and then we move on.
Okay, yeah, we gotta throw some spice up in there, man. I gotta come through just like, well, I can't do it. I'm too even keeled. But we gotta send somebody in there to just be like, yeah, F PlayStation, F Microsoft, something to just throw y'all off or something. I don't know. And you have to try to, get them back in line.
They probably wouldn't last in the chat that long. We would have a lot of time, tolerance, or patience for foolishness.
They were like, get them out of there, throw in the towel. But yeah, man, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Danny, my good brother, tell the good folks where they can find you and what you'll be up to coming up.
Yeah, you can find me over on Ready Set Replay on Spotify and YouTube. That's the podcast that I do with my best friend Skylar, where we talk about retro video games and currently Star Trek. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but we've recently done replays of the first. I say replays; they're reviews of the old Resident Evil games, 1 through Code Veronica. We've also done like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. A lot of really good stuff over there. And then we just finished season 1 of Star Trek, the original series, which even if you haven't watched, I think is an interesting one to listen to, because there's a lot of really fun information about just like sort of what making TV in the 60s was like, and like how big of a deal it was that Uhura was on the bridge, even though she rarely got speaking roles for some reason. But a lot of really fun history with that show. And I would love to see some of you over in those comment sections. Even if the comment says, you suck and I hate you, I would love to see it.
So you all
the engagement is good.
You all know what to do. Go there.
Everyone go over, just roast
and tell him you suck. And subscribe while you're at it.
Yes, please do.
I mean, listen, we just found out about our brother Logic being a Trekkie. You might want to try to, extend that olive branch out.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Y'all can trek it out up in there.
I might have a show that you might kind of like a little bit.
I'm a Trekker, not a Trekkie. The difference is Trekkies get dressed up and go to conventions. Trekkers just watch the show.
I see. Gotcha. That's nice. So you're telling me you don't want to get cosplayed out as Spock? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not into all that.
No, he's clearly a Worf.
Yeah, he's Worfing. Yeah. Well, listen, man. As far as myself,
this video game has no honor.
You're right. But as far as myself, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite, you will find me either way on social media. I got to pull back a little bit. I'm sure you've seen some of my tweets, Logic. I've been chewing up people lately. This discourse of this discourse of politics and ideological nonsense with people calling everything woke has had me just.
Oh yeah, we did kind of go in on her kind of hard yesterday.
Oh man,
the whole Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is woke.
It just made me so. I don't know what it was. It made me so mad.
That trailer was woke. Wait, what?
It made me so mad. I don't know what it. I think I was at my boiling point with that, because I'm so sick of people just throwing it out there, misusing and mischaracterizing a word, and it's woke, and we know what you're doing. We know what that means.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
for
sick
sure.
of that. So I was, man, I snapped out. But I'm learning. I'm looking at myself and my responses. I'm like, okay, I gotta. Although I do have a
So I'm sorry
ton of likes off that tweet, by the way. But
Yeah. So and I'm sorry to hop on that, but like
no, you good.
she is 27 years old. When Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines came out, she was 3. And she's over here bent out of shape. That Bloodlines 2 supposedly isn't like keeping to the lore and is twisting things around and is woke. And I'm like, you probably just need some therapy or just need to like work some stuff out on your own on the side. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's all of this over 2 hours of watching gameplay in air quotes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Game's not even out yet.
It's just stupid, man. And my thing is, if you're going to complain, okay, cool. Because I know some people say, well, they changed this. Okay, listen, that's fine if you complain about it. I don't have any problem with anyone giving critiques or complaining about something they don't like and to change. But when you jump to the first few words out of your mouth, or in this case, on their fingers, is, oh, it's woke. It's like shut up.
It's a red flag.
It's a giant red flag. It's like, we know what you're trying to do. We know who you're appealing to. I'm sick of it. Get out of gaming with that nonsense. Take that back to the politics side of things and shut the hell up over here with that. To me, it's just ruined gaming's discourse so much. I'm so tired of it, man. This is a hobby we all love. I don't want them to dirty it with that nonsense. Keep that shit, excuse my language, keep that shit over there. That said, to end on a bright note, thank you all again for coming through. Get some gaming on. Risk, are we going live tomorrow, man, for the Infinite podcast? I don't know. I'm guessing we are. Yeah. Oh, I may as well shout out the podcast as well. Tomorrow night, the Infinite podcast typically is at Fridays at 8:00. That's myself. That's Risky for the Biscuit as host. That's that blue number, Holly, and that is my brother Dante Moody, aka Spriggan. And on Tuesdays, the Xbox Factor with Boom as host and myself and Jamie Moran as panelists. That's 12:00 Eastern. So come by for those, and we would appreciate you guys. We're going to get out of here. You all have a good weekend. Play some games. Don't get into any political stuff like I did at Trap. And be good and live long and prosperous. Later, guys.